Hi, I'm Paul Begley. Good afternoon. Sorry, I'm just now getting back on it for 2 days, but we had a horrible storm, knocked out our internet connections. Well, and maybe it's just rightfully so. I mean, earthquakes are hitting everywhere. Earthquake hit Washington, D.C. About 13 hours after the oil well in the Gulf was capped, the Deep Horizon well. Once it was capped and the pressure was applied, and the sea floor is now seepage. It's happening. It's bleeding, and that's why the pressures are staying around 6,700 psi. They are not getting up in that 8,000 to 9,000 range. Is because the well is cracked and the sea floor is bleeding. But before I get there was also an earthquake in Alaska, and they're hitting everywhere. And you might say, well, that's just nature. They're hitting at a more rapid pace, and we have to take a look at the situation and ask ourselves what is going on. But the Gulf of Mexico, which has over 200 million gallons of crude oil spewed in it during an 87-day period, now it has had the well closed for 3 days. But during this 3 days of not being open, the floor is bleeding. The pressure is not rising in the well as it should and holding steady because there is a leak, and that leak is at least one or two leaks. We know that the ocean floor is seeping. We know the ocean floor is bleeding, and people, this is why we keep coming back to you. If you go back and look at my videos, I tell you that the first big huge cap, the one that was 4 stories, I said it's not going to work. The buoyancy of the water and the pressure of the well formed crystals up near the top of that dome, that big huge 4-story thing, and that created more buoyancy, and it wouldn't work. Then they went to trying to put a 6-inch well pipe in this big 24-inch gushing well. That's like putting a straw in a garden hose. What's that going to do? That didn't work. Then they tried to top kill it with concrete and debris, but you can't fill enough of that in with a gushing well, a runaway well like this one is, especially when it's a mile beneath the sea. So that didn't work. So then they tried to do this first cap, and that cap was they put it on there, and you had to get the saw, and the saw got stuck, and get the shears, and the shears cut it jagged, and then they put the cap on it, and it's rickety rockety, and there's they were able to seal it enough to where they could siphon up about 800,000 gallons a day, but still 1.2 or more million gallons a day was pouring into the Gulf. And that went on for about 3 weeks, and now this new cap has sealed it. And then the question is, has it stopped it for good? And the answer is no. The floor of the Gulf of Mexico is bleeding. The floor of the Gulf of Mexico has been compromised. The bedrock is in danger. And if you'll go back and look at all my videos talking about it won't work, it won't work, it won't work, I told you then, this one won't work. And they're going to have to turn it off. They're going to have to release some vents. They're going to have to let some crude oil flow again because it's not stopped. Now, the relief wells that are being drilled is the last hope, at least as far as BP is concerned, but not the last hope as far as President Bill Clinton's concerned. Go back and look at my videos on the subject. Bill Clinton said you must blow up the well. Bill Clinton says blow it up, and he has inside information, and he let it leak, he let it slip, and people all over the world have seen it on that YouTube video. And you can go back and see it, see mine, where Bill Clinton is saying you have to blow it up. Now, Russia has done it 7 times. They've had to blow up 7 runaway wells, not at the depth of a mile below the ocean surface like this one is, and not nearly with a well that was this powerful, and it was in such a large pool of oil. So we've got big problems right now, people. I don't know what to tell you, except you need to don't believe everything you hear. This thing's in danger, and we're going to need to blow this thing up. I'm Paul Begley reporting. Keep hanging in there.